Ladies and gentlemen, wanderlust enthusiasts, and fellow globetrotters, welcome aboard the thrilling journey of the Bubblehead Talks Vacations Podcast. Get ready to fasten your seatbelts as we embark on a virtual adventure filled with travel tips, upcoming vacation events and deals, and riveting travel reports. Hosted by the one and only travel guru, Dave Bryant, the Bubblehead. This podcast promises to be your ultimate to exploring the world and making the most of your wanderlust. Let's see where the bubbles take us. Attention all travel enthusiasts. Are you ready for the thrill of a lifetime? Bubblehead Vacations presents an exciting upcoming contest that'll have you packing your bags in no time. Here's Dave with all the details.
Your luxury dream cruise awaits. Enter now for the chance to win an all-inclusive Scenics luxury cruise valued at $10,000. Indulge in elegance with gourmet meals, breathtaking views, and unparalleled service. Visit our website shown on the screen. Make sure you enter by January 14th and embark on an unforgettable journey. Don't just dream about adventure, live it. Enter before the time runs out and set sail into luxury.
Welcome back, fellow adventurers, to another exciting segment of the Bubblehead Talks Vacations Podcast, where the bubbles will lead us to extraordinary destinations and unforgettable experiences.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Bubblehead Talks Vacations Podcast. Here I am coming remotely from Walt Disney World, filming this one while I'm still down here from competing in my Dopey Challenge this last week and weekend, 4 days. It was an unbelievable experience. I got to give Disney lots of props for how they put on race weekends. This is their big one for the year, the marathon weekend. This is the only weekend where they do an actual marathon. They run several events now between Disneyland out in Anaheim, California, and down here in Florida at Disney World. They run 4 or 5 events a year. They just recently added a Halloween half marathon to Disneyland. They've actually got a Disneyland half coming this weekend. They have a wine and dine. They have a springtime surprise. They have all kinds. They have a princess half marathon that comes up here in February. A lot of races, a lot of cool stuff they do. They do nothing slacking. Before I get into the podcast and get into the first segment of what this podcast is going to be about, just a big thank you to all the listeners, all the people that reached out. Needed a lot of positive vibes to get through my first marathon this weekend. And just want to make sure I say thank you up front to everybody who helped me with that. So let's talk about, we're going to transition on into the podcast itself. First thing I want to recognize is if you have not signed up for that luxury cruise giveaway, we are in the final days of that. All the information was just there on the screen. Make sure you go get signed up for that luxury cruise. All it costs you is your email address. $10,000 luxury cruise giveaway. Somebody's going to win it. Why not you? So let's talk about it. The way this podcast is going to break down is obviously the biggest thing I've had going on in the last week is the Dopey Challenge. We're going to 100% talk about what that is and the rest of my trip down here and any lessons learned and things you guys can have. So let's talk about what the Dopey Challenge was. Dopey Challenge is supposed to be 48.6 miles. We'll talk about why this one was different. We're going to talk about the 5K. We're going to talk about the 10K. We're going to talk about what should have been the half marathon, which I'm calling, and a lot of people on the course are calling the half marathon. And we're going to talk about the full marathon. Okay. You run those over 4 days. So on Thursday, we ran a 5K. On Friday, I ran a 10K. On Saturday, it's supposed to be a half marathon. And then on Sunday, which was 2 days ago, I'm recording this on Tuesday, it was a full marathon. Okay. So let's talk about the 5K. The 5K is the fun run of all 4 of those races. 3.1 miles. It will take you the route and the mascot of that fun run is Pluto. Okay. The medal for it, if I'd have been smart, I wouldn't have it in my luggage. I'd have it out here to show you guys. If you look at our social media, hashtag Dave Does Dopey or hashtag Bubblehead Conquers Dopey, you'll be able to see tons of pictures of everything, but it's a medal with Pluto on it. Has 2024. Very nice medal. Unbelievable, actually, the amount of bling I got throughout this but that's the first medal I got on Thursday. The route takes you around Epcot and to the back of Epcot and then around the world of Epcot. And then you start the parking lot at Epcot, you enter the parking lot at Epcot. It's a lot of fun. Go look at our social media. I posted a lot of what goes on there at Bubblehead Vacations. Just go check that out. But immense amount of fun. I cannot say enough about done a lot of 5Ks in my time in the world, and this was the most fun ever. No time chip. There's no timing of this unless you were running the Dopey. So everybody else, it was just a run. No real time requirement that I'm aware of to get off the course. There were 4 or 5 characters that I can remember that were on the course. Mile markers, like I said, you run through Epcot and then you come out. You get great race, no pressure, great way to start the Dopey Challenge. Some things I would say is you have to remember you're in Florida. I train and live in the Charleston area. Humidity is almost the same. The weather is almost the same. And it's only about a 6-hour drive, 350 miles of difference distance between the two. But the weather can be, the big thing you have to know about all these races, and the big lesson learned for me that I've got to work on before I potentially do one again, is the time you have to get up in the morning. The buses start running at 3 a.m. You want to get on one of the first buses, just like everything else Disney. You want to get near the front of these things. It's the 4 days of getting up at 1:30 in the morning to go run a race that really wreaked havoc on me. Now, my time in the military has allowed me to shift my sleep schedule a lot, but just want to make sure everybody knows that's part of what it is. That's part of what the 5K was for me. Okay. The second race, the race we ran on Friday, was a 10K. So on Thursday morning, it was 60 degrees and stayed at 60 degrees for the entire race. Friday morning, 50 degrees. I was in full sweatsuit. You're able to drop that off for donation. So obviously I didn't run in that, but it took me a mile into the 10K to get warm. 10K went fine. The route for the 10K is very similar to the 5K. They take you out into some of the roads around Epcot before you go into Epcot to finish the race. That race is purely, once again, you're just going to be at Epcot. You're not going to go see any of the other parks. That's how that race is designed. That race is Chip and Dale's race on marathon weekend. The medal features Chip and Dale on a 10K. Once again, go check out all the social media, Bubblehead Vacations. I was posting 3-4 videos or posts a day. You'll see a lot more of that for me as far as from that race, because it was, all 4 of those races had something, made a big impact on me. So you'll see more of what those races were about if you pay attention to our social media. So the route I've talked about, the medal I've talked about, wear that sweatsuit. And then what's really cool is the volunteers for the race. You drop all that stuff off at the beginning. They collect all of it up, and then they donate all that to local shelters here in the Orlando area. It's a good way for us as runners to give back. It's a good way for me to clean out my closet of stuff that it seems like I'm always putting more athletic gear into my closets to wear. And this allows me to purge some of that stuff that I don't mind donating, which is great stuff. I think is a great idea and great on Disney to do. So anyways, there's a weather fluctuation. Now, that's it for this segment. It was the 5K done, 10K done Thursday, Friday, getting up early in the morning. Both of them where I was done early enough. Friday, we were able to finish up and get to Animal Kingdom. Thursday, we finished the 5K, went to Animal Kingdom. Check social media for pictures on that. Great pictures from Kilimanjaro Safari, and I'll talk about that later on the podcast. Then Friday, we just went to Disney Springs. While I was down here, I had an opportunity on Friday to meet with some business associates to talk Disney and Disney travel, and talk a little bit about that conversation later on in this podcast as well. But what I really want to make sure everybody knows is finishing Thursday and Friday were a lot of fun races down here. And I'm going to talk about the rest of the Dopey Challenge, which is the half marathon and the marathon, or what should have been the half marathon and marathon, in the next segment. But Before we conclude segment one, just want to remind everybody, and we're going to talk about it here in the next second, is that please make sure you enter the Amazon giveaway, share the podcast, give us a thumbs up, tag us in it with Bubblehead Best, and we'll give you all the details here, so just stay tuned.
Want to win a shopping spree? Your chance is just to review or share away. Share your love for the Bubblehead Talks Vacations podcast, post your recommendation, tag us, and add hashtag BubbleheadBest to enter our monthly draw. Or leave a review on your favorite podcast platform, take a screenshot of that review, tag Bubblehead Vacations with hashtag BubbleheadBest on any social media platform, and you're in it for a win. Every post and review is your ticket to win. Maximize your chances with 2 entries by doing both. Hurry, that clock's ticking. Get your entries in before the end of January and get set to win this Bubblehead Talks Vacations podcast giveaway.
Hey, welcome back. Appreciate everybody who's entered that into the subscriber contest there. Like I said, all we want is a quick share of the podcast to people who follow you on social media, or if you write a review, tag us, hashtag BubbleheadBest. Once again, this is a podcast about the Dopey Challenge this past weekend. I'm recording remotely down at Walt Disney World, and this segment, we're just going to talk a little bit about the last 2 races in the Dopey Challenge. We're recapping this. The Dopey Challenge, which is started in 2014 down here at Disney World and their Run Disney. 4 races in 4 days, a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, and a full marathon. I did all that this past weekend. It's called the Dopey Challenge. With the OG Challenge, the original challenge they had, which was just the half marathon, and the full marathon is also part of this Dopey Challenge. Let's talk right out there right now about the half marathon. Anybody that saw the Facebook Live, I did one every day to recap, but I did a quick one Friday night after I'd gotten word. Like I said, I'd met with an associate earlier in the day who doesn't work in the Run Disney World at all. He's on the travel side. But he alluded to there was bad weather coming Saturday. And if anybody is involved with any kind of outdoor work or anything at all, we all know lightning is taken way seriously nowadays than it used to be back when I was much younger. It's a good thing. Safety is always important. And Disney made a decision about 6 p.m. Friday to turn the half marathon into basically, it was 7.1 miles. There are a lot of people upset about that. They pay a lot of money to come down here and race. It's a flat course. So if you're somebody who's trying to qualify at Boston Marathon, any other half marathons or marathons in the world, you're trying to get up a half marathon pace that allows you to qualify. And you come down here and you travel for this race and you find out that it's only going to be 7.1 miles. Frustration is real and legitimate. Totally understand why somebody would be upset with that. But it was a race. I'm a big guy that believes Lord does what the Lord does. Things happen in this world the way they happen. You have to rise up and run the race that's put before you. I had prepped and trained for the Dopey Challenge, was meant day 3 was supposed to be a half marathon. I only ran 7.1. And that's okay. That's the race that was put in front of me. Knowing I was going to have my first marathon ever in my life the next day, I ran those 7.1 miles, put a medal on that says that I ran 13.1, and know that I still owe Disney a half marathon and we'll talk a little bit about that later. But that's the change that happened. And you know what? I wasn't broken up about it. I understood it, right? Disney was put in a hard spot. They can't control the weather, and the weather inserted some weirdness into it. Guess what? That happens in this world. So no big deal there. But let's talk about the race that was the half marathon. So traditionally, the half marathon here at Disney World will have you go start in the Epcot parking lot where all the races start. You actually run to Disney World, come through the castle, come back to Epcot, and finish at Epcot, the finish line that you have for all the other races. When they cut it down to 7.1 miles, all they did was add some exit and on-ramps to some of the roads on the outside of Epcot, had us out of it, run a little bit through Epcot, out into the highways, back into Epcot to finish, just like the 10K before. So I'll be honest with you, there wasn't anything new from the 5K to the 10K to the half. There was no run through Disney World. It was just at Epcot, which also upset some people, but can't make everybody happy. To be honest with you, It was pouring rain about the time we left after the race on Saturday, and I was just glad to be out of it. It's just not safe to be out walking around in a lightning storm in big giant parking lots. It's definitely not safe to be running in it, lightning storm. So it is what it was, right? The half marathon is traditionally Daisy and Donald Duck's race here at Disney, and the medal has Donald and Daisy on it. The route is, except for the mile of highway outside of Epcot that was added, it was 100% just like the 10K I ran on Friday as far as the route, what was on the route, the sights to see. There was nothing new and additional to it. So, I mean, in a nutshell, that was pretty much the half marathon. Now, let's talk about the coup de grace, the race that I had never run or ever thought I would run, and that's a marathon. I ran the Disney Marathon on Sunday and completed the Disney Marathon on Sunday. Something I haven't talked about, and it applies to the 10K, the half marathon, and the full marathon, is if you're going to come do one of these Run Disney races, you have to run more than a 16-minute mile. They cannot support shutting. They could support it, but they won't. Disney's not going to shut down their theme parks, and they're not going to shut up all the transportation roads to allow this race to go forever. So they put basically a 7-hour cap on it. The way they police it is they have a pair of runners. They call them the quote unquote balloon ladies. They have these giant white balloons that they run with. And if you fall behind them, they're the ones who set the pace. So if you fall behind them and they leave, they're the last ones across the start line. I was in the last corral or the last grouping of runners, or there was a whole bunch of us, and they leave in waves. But I was in that last group. I heard the balloon people being interviewed as I was starting out, which was nerve-wracking because if you fall behind them, there's some people on bikes that tell you to get on a bus, and then you didn't finish your marathon, which, you know what, didn't have to deal with. I finished. It wasn't pretty, but I'll tell you what, I'll take it. But this is Mickey and Minnie's race. The medal was really cool. It had in the middle of it a little spinny medallion that on one side had Mickey and Minnie on it, and on the back side had some fireworks. A very big medallion, or medal, if you will. Sported that for a while on Sunday. Was very proud of that. But anyways, the race itself, okay, starts exactly the same place in the Epcot parking lot that all the other races start. You start on the highway, come around, go into Epcot, and then you know what? You go from Epcot to Magic Kingdom to Animal Kingdom to Hollywood Studios. I'm sorry, before you get to Hollywood Studios, you run through the parking lot at Blizzard Beach, which is the water park that Walt Disney World runs. Then you run through Hollywood Studios to the boardwalk. From the boardwalk to Epcot, you run around the world. So you enter around where Britain is. If anybody who stayed in any of those Epcot resorts have walked from like Boardwalk, Beach and Yacht, Beach Club over, there's that path. The gondolas come in there, or I can't remember the name of them right now, but those where those go, or you can take watercraft. We run through there all the way around Epcot, around the world, down through the middle underneath the bowl, out through the front, and then around in the marathon. I'm going to be honest with you. It trusted me. It physically tested me. My legs hurt pretty good from it, but I made it. Mentally, I hit a wall. It was probably, I'll tell you what, I had lived in Florida, have been down here a bunch. No, it rains, even when it's not forecasted. And for some reason, I convinced myself Sunday to listen to the forecasters and the weather people. It did not prepare for rain. I did not take the measures to protect myself from injury from rain. And when we got to Magic Kingdom, which is about 8 mile 9, we got just absolutely poured on for typical Florida 5-minute shower. And to be honest with you, my feet, I ran through puddles. My feet got soaked and blisters started about mile 9 or 10. I felt blisters. They're pretty bad on the bottom of my feet. I'm not going to lie to anybody. I didn't take enough positive action to prevent that from happening, and, wouldn't allow myself to quit, even though I was in quite a bit of pain. Is what it is. No permanent damage. But that was the physical wall I hit. And then I hit a mental wall about where the half would have been, maybe 13.1, 13.4 miles. I hit a pretty big wall. Gonna be honest with you, finished. Not impressed with my time. Had trained to try to be right at a 15-minute mile and ended up coming in at a 15.5-minute mile because I did a bunch of walking on the back end when my feet were just not letting me run, but powered through. It showed me the mental resiliency that's required in running a race of that length, something that I had never done. I've done some triathlons, some Olympic length triathlons where the mileage was quite a bit. There's a bike and a swim associated with that. This was all running, which is not of my things to do. It's not my thing so much, but I did it and I'm very proud of what we were able to accomplish or what I was able to accomplish. So that's the medal. That's the route. Lessons learned is if you're going to run in Florida, be ready for rain. Do the things you need to do prepared for that. The other thing I did that if I could do it all over again, I got frustrated with the rain and not being prepared for it, let that seep in my head and went, I'm just going to stop doing some of the things like my nutrition stuff, some of the stuff that I told myself to do. I stopped doing and hit a wall. I think some of it had to do with because I just wasn't putting enough in my body. If there's 2 lessons learned from that, if you have a plan, stick to it. And if you're going to run in Florida, be ready for rain. Those are the big lessons learned I have from the marathon. I could sit and talk a long time about, I believe everybody has to understand the why of what they do in this world. In hard times, you have to rely on that why to get marathon testing me on my why. My why is all about trying to prove to myself that I can accept and beat a challenge, no matter what this world hands to me. And I had to step up to a challenge, overcome that on Sunday. I like to think that's what will make me a great travel agent. It's what makes me good at my job in the military. It's what made me good at the things I have chosen to do in this world. And if I work for you as a travel agent, that's how I am as a podcaster. That's what I'm trying to be, a help to people. If anybody's got any questions about anything, I'd love to hear anybody's thoughts on a marathon or the Dopey challenge and me getting through it. And like I said, though, at the end of it, you can see the pictures of me. I have a 5K medal. I have a 10K medal. I have a half marathon medal. I have a full marathon medal. I have the OG challenge, the Goofy challenge medal, because I did both the half and the full. And I have a Dopey challenge medal. I've got a set of Mickey ears that say I would, finish the full marathon. I have a bunch of pictures. I have a t-shirt that I got really nice long sleeve shirts I got for every run and every challenge. I walked out of here with a lot of stuff with the admission cost. A lot of pictures. I haven't even posted half of them. Disney took for me out on the course. I've been painting a lot of them from the marathon, but somehow I was able to get out a smile, which I'm most impressed about. To be honest with you, I'm patting myself on the back on this one. Get the Dopey challenge done, I'm good. Now I'm going to segue into the bigger. I'm going to fast forward in the podcast. That's fine. You're done hearing about the Dopey challenge. That's fine. I told everybody I was going to do a Dopey challenge once in my life and I was going to be done. I was never going to do it anymore. They announced that they were cutting the half marathon short and I wasn't getting the 48.6 miles in one weekend robbed. Now, there are a lot of people that went and ran 6.1 miles on their own, which is fine. I just don't feel like it's sanctioned and Disney didn't require it, so I didn't do it. I do feel like me to say I did a Dopey challenge, looking at trying to figure out how I'm going to do it next year. Signing up for these challenges, there's a financial cost. I'm willing to eat that. It's hard to get in. It's really a luck of a draw of getting on a website at the right time. It's during the week. You got to be signed up at the right time. You got to hit the button at the right time. It's almost like those great concert tickets or anything else in this world. If I can get in, I'm going to try it again just so that I can say I got a full Dopey challenge. Me, I wear the medals. I feel like I earned it this weekend, but I don't feel like I'll truly have it until I do it. And so I think I owe it to myself and the reasons why I was trying to do it in the first place. I'm going to try and do it again. See if I get in, then I'll do it. If I don't, then we'll see what we do from there. But for this, I really want to make sure everybody talks about or knows about is make sure you follow me, the Bubblehead Vacations Voyagers group on Facebook. You're going to hear about how joining that is cool here in a second. But this weekend I was trying to put videos up and talk to the people in the group about what I was going through, a place where we can connect and create a true travel group. And I would appreciate everybody listening to that.
Set sail on a new adventure with the Bubblehead Vacations Voyagers. Be among the first to anchor in our new Facebook group, designed specifically for the Bubblehead travel enthusiasts just like you. Help us chart the course. Share your stories, dreams, and the best kept secrets of the traveling world. As we grow, so will the perks. Exclusive content, direct travel support from yours truly, the Bubblehead, and first dibs on special offers. Be a part of the foundation of a community that's going places. Join the Bubblehead Vacations Voyagers today.
Hey, how we doing? Dave Bryant, Bubblehead again. Filming segment 3, this third segment of the podcast. It's going to focus on the parks itself. So if you wanted to just fast forward through the podcast, the first 2 were about me racing and the Dopey challenge, and I went on a little bit of a rant and ramble about how hard that and difficult that Dopey challenge would be. It's what happens when Bubblehead goes off script or you catch him on vacation. Every once in a while, those podcasts are going to be out there like that. So that being said, let's get into our experiences. And when I say my partner in life, Nicole Bryant, she's the thing that makes me get up in the morning. She's awesome. Really married up, and I don't deserve her. She was there the whole weekend for me to support me through the races. Picked me up when I was down, made me feel like I could do it. Really appreciate everything. It was awesome to have her here. But we'll move on. Hopefully you join that Bubblehead Vacation Voyagers group. Very important that you do that. That's where we, as a group, as a tribe, as a family of people who like travel. And, I try to spend more time there giving advice on to that group, or at least there for them, and try to build a community of travelers and like-minded travelers. So we were at Disney for the last 7 days. We actually just finished up our last day in the parks. We're driving home in the morning as this podcast is coming out. But just so everybody knows, so on Thursday of last week, we were in Animal Kingdom. If you remember, I did a 5K. Then we went to Animal Kingdom. Big thing we did there is we did Kilimanjaro safaris. Nicole and I love going on there. Coolest thing we'd ever seen on this. The first time we've ever seen the animals, the wildebeest, were up playing. Never seen that before. There was one young one that was just really firing the whole herd up and having them running all over the place. It was almost like you might seen them on safari if you were in Africa. It was kind of interesting. It was kind of cool to see. They were standing in the road at one point, blocked the car, which we have pictures of that up in social media. It was a lot of fun. On Friday, we didn't actually go to any amusement parks on Friday or Saturday, knowing I was going to have a half marathon potentially on Saturday and a full marathon on Sunday. Just trying to rest my legs, if you want to know the truth. So what the plan. We did go to Disney Springs. I had that meeting that I talked about with the travel associate to kind of talk about some of the deals and some of the changes and things going on here. There are some really good deals. There's some free Disney dining plans for Disney Plus subscribers. There's some 35% off hotel rooms. There's some awesome military discounts that are out there. And honestly, there's a lot going on here at Disney as far as groups are concerned. And I'm hoping to have some exciting announcements to partner with my Bubblehead Cruise, birthday cruise we're taking this summer. Some opportunities I'm going to be able to offer around the same time. I'm hoping to I'm working on that right now. That's part of what that meeting was about. Not ready to announce, kind of a tease, if you will, but that's where we're going. But we were at Disney Springs. If you don't know what that is, used to be Marketplace Disney. It's a big thing of a bunch of restaurants and shops. Some of it's Disney related, some of it's not. There's a Lego store. There's a Under Armour store. There's a running store. There's a Coach store. There's all kinds of restaurant stuff too. Wolfgang Puck's got a place down there. There's a couple places. I met my associate at a place called Everglazed Donut. Great coffee there. Unbelievable. I never even heard of the place. Didn't even know it was there. Parked in the orange parking garage, walked down, and it was right at the bottom of the stairs. And that's where he met me. Had a great conversation with John. Had a donut. While I was doing that, Nicole had done some shopping. We actually met at the Bamboo Bar, which there's a restaurant called Splitsville. It's like an adult amusement center inside. There's a bowling alley block outside. They've just opened an outside bar called the Bamboo Bar. And actually, the weather was nasty Friday morning and then turned nice. And we actually sat there. There was live music. There was two gentlemen, both playing guitars, both singing. Unbelievable. Honestly, if you want to know the truth, they're very, very talented. And we just sat there. I was drinking water and honestly Gatorade, and Nicole was having some adult beverages. We had these killer nachos. There was a bartender, a person who waited on us there. Her name was Summer. A big shout out to Summer. I don't know that she'll ever listen to this, but if you go to the Bamboo Bar and Summer just happens to be the one behind the bar, what amazing, her ability to involve everybody in the conversation, create an atmosphere all by herself behind this giant bar, making things happen. It was amazing. I'll be honest with you. We had a really good time. We finished up there probably around 8, 9 o'clock. Like I told you guys, man, I'm old I feel old. I'm young at heart, but I feel old, and getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning, 4 days in a row, that was a lot. And so I was trying to go to bed around 8, 9 o'clock every night and was able to do that, but that just meant early nights for us. So that was really what we did. Saturday, I ran that half of a half. We really didn't go anywhere. Big part of that was, one, I was kind of sore, 3 days of running, trying to prep and get my legs ready for that full marathon. And maybe at some point, if anybody's got any questions about some of the things I did to try to prepare my body for this, more than willing to take those offline. Just don't think it's a part of this travel podcast or what I'm trying to do with the network. But that being said, I'm an avid Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I know I've got people tuning me out right then, but I am what I am. I'm an avid Pittsburgh Steelers fan. They played Saturday at 4:30. I watched that game and then went to bed because I was so dang happy they won. Sunday was a full marathon. That was 7 hours on my feet, big giant blisters, soaking wet. The weather actually was kind of nice afterwards. I felt bad. Nicole and I just could not get my feet to work to get us to go anywhere to have a good time. We tried to go somewhere. It didn't work. Now let's talk Monday. Monday, we switched resorts. I'll talk about my resort stays in the next segment. I'll talk a little about where we stayed and how we do Disney. But we were at Hollywood Studios all day Monday. But I say Monday. I slept in. I've done a lot of sleeping to try to recover. I think that's the biggest thing you can do to recover from any kind of workout regimen. You need a lot. Your body needs a lot of sleep to try to recover from the wear and tear of any kind of workout regimen you're in, especially when you go hard like I did for 4 days. That being said, we were at Hollywood Studios yesterday, all day. It was, it's one of our favorite parks. Not really sure. I say, I don't know. The Aerosmith Rock and Roll Coaster, Tower of Terror. It goes back to many, many, many years ago. One of the first times Nicole and I came down here by ourselves. Tower of Terror was set up differently, and the way they held you in place and some of the seats was a chain. And I was the one sitting in the chain seat, one of our rides, and I came out of that seat. It was very funny. It was actually caught on film. I don't know that those pictures even exist anymore, or Disney even wants them out there. But that being said, so we wrote Tower of Terror. There's going to be pictures in social media of us up on Tower of Terror. But our favorite nighttime show, or one of the favorites we have, is Fantasmic. When it opened up back last summer, we were here, made a trip just to make sure we saw it. Saw it again. They've done some tweaks, introduced some of the newer stuff. Still an awesome show. We love it. You'll be able to see those videos up for sure. I posted that this morning. If you go to Bubblehead Vacations on Facebook, you'll be able to see reels and video of that. Obviously, you can't video the whole show. Well, you could, and there are plenty of people that do. We didn't. It was a good time. Recommend that for anybody. And then today we went to Magic Kingdom. We were in Magic Kingdom this morning. We just got back from Magic Kingdom. Weather went really bad here, tornado warnings and stuff. So we decided it probably wasn't smart for us to stay in the amusement park. So we came back to the hotel. But tell you what, this time of year, and I'm going to talk a lot about this next segment. This is the time of year, if you work with a travel agent or somebody who knows Disney, if you just want to ask me, hey, is this a good time to go? If you could pick the dates that you want to come down here for a family vacation to Walt Disney World, you want to pick some certain dates, times a year to come January is a good time after the Run Disney. Anyways, Magic Kingdom was empty. I don't know what else to say. We got through, I don't know, 6 or 7 major rides, Pirates of the Caribbean, Jungle Cruise, Haunted Mansion, all that stuff in like 3 hours this morning. And I'm not doing anything special, no tricks, no anything crazy other than understanding what crowds are like and that was the park to be in today. But that being said, the big thing tonight that we did is we have not, they opened a newer restaurant to be our guest. It's a restaurant in Fantasyland. It's obviously themed with the Beast, and you're in the Beast Castle eating with his staff. It was really cool. We had a great dinner there, had a lot of fun there. Got to see the Beast. There's some video we'll be posting tomorrow of seeing Beast. So that was fun. Got there, did some shopping. Magic Kingdom's always amazing. Their nighttime fireworks show, we had plans to stay there tonight. We just couldn't get there. The weather just not cooperating. I don't know. We've seen it a lot. It's a great time. We just left early to get out of the potentially hazardous weather. But anyways, that was us in the parks this time. I'm going to tell you right now, the next segment, I'm going to talk about resort stays and planning for a Disney trip. I'm going to give you small pieces because I really think that if you are looking to get the stress out of your life and plan Disney and go have fun, you should be talking to a travel agent. That being said, we're going to take a word, Bubblehead Vacations, and then we're going to stop right into the last segment, which is going to be some tips for you guys and some ideas of how you can do Disney.
Ready to cruise into 2025 with style and excitement? Your New Year's Eve celebration awaits. Departing from Tampa on December 28th, 2024, Radiance of the Seas invites you to a sensational Western Caribbean holiday. For a limited time, secure your cabin at an amazing rate. It's first come, first served, so please don't wait. Dance the old year away and welcome the new. Reserve your cabin now by visiting our page at the website listed or contacting Bubblehead Vacations directly. Spaces are filling fast for this once-a-year extravaganza. Secure your New Year's Eve 2024 cruise today, and let's make it unforgettable.
All right, hey, so New Year's Eve 2025, ringing in the new year of 2025. It's going to be a blast on Radiance of the Seas. Hopefully you guys can get into that. Cabins are going quick. I was actually kind of surprised. I booked a little bit than I did for this last summer. For the cruises happening this summer. I appreciate the community that's rallying around trying to come ring in the new year with me down in Tampa. So that being said, let's wrap this thing up. So let's just talk a little bit about planning a trip to Disney. I'm going to give you 3 things because I don't want this podcast to go any longer. 3 things if you're going to look at planning a trip to Disney that you need to think about. Okay. The first thing I'm going to tell you is make a budget. Make a budget, decide how much you're going to spend, and then stick to that budget. Easier said than done. It's real easy if you contact a travel agent. They can help you get there. But if you're going to try and do this on your own and you're not experiencing going to Disney, hit me on Facebook Messenger, hit me on WhatsApp, text me, whatever we got to do to help get you on the right path. But that being said, got to make sure you have a budget, right? Stay within your budget, work within your budget, only spend what you can afford to spend. Don't let somebody convince you otherwise, okay? You can do Disney on any budget. Just make sure you're doing it the smart way. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. There are discounts to be had. You just got to know where to look for them. Second thing is time of year you're going to go. Sometimes you have no control of that. When our children were in school or had certain activities, and honestly with my job in the military, there are only certain times of the year I can go. Now that I can kind of pick and choose when I go, I pick times that I know based on experience and some conversations I have with people who actually track attendance and what days are lighter and which days aren't. Pick the right time for you. Pick the right time that's going to get you what you want to accomplish. And then the third thing that I try to tell anybody on any vacation they ever plan, unplug and enjoy and remember the reason why you're on that vacation. And make sure you accomplish that vacation goal. If you want to go there and learn a new language, go there and learn the new language, make that the top priority. If you want to come to Disney and you want to ride all the rides, then you make sure that you have a plan that allows you to ride all the rides. If you want to come down to Disney and you want to try all the food, make sure you have a plan and a good travel agent that knows when to get you your dinner reservations so that you know what to get. Okay. Those are the 3 things I'll tell you. Make a budget, pick the right time to come, And just like with any vacation, make sure that you make that goal of that vacation and you accomplish that goal, make that a priority. Okay. If you do those three things down here at Disney, guaranteed to have a good time, guaranteed to get what you want out of your vacations. Last of all, I will tell you straight up, if you want to plan a trip down here to Disney, I did 2 for 2 different families last summer. They had a blast. I have nothing but glowing reviews from them. Bubblehead Vacations, we are Disney planning experts. I know that because I live and breathe the product. I just spent a weekend down here running a marathon because I love being at Disney so much. And I wanted this Dopey medal because I've seen so many people walk around with it. I was jealous and I wanted it. The only way you can get it is to compete the Dopey challenge, which I did. Right. So in closing, hey, what did we talk about in this podcast? We talked about the 5K, 10K, half marathon and marathon that was this weekend. Okay. That's known as the Dopey challenge. Got that out of the way. There's a lot of conversation at the beginning of this about running races and walls and things you got to do, be mentally resilient, hopefully to inspire somebody, motivate somebody. If you're in that, right. Third segment of this, if you want to fast forward to that, just talks about our times in the parks, the stuff we did. Last segment, and that's this one. We just talked a little bit about 3 tips you can use to be successful at Disney. Okay. I'm going to wrap it up there. Okay. Hey, I appreciate everybody who's reached out to us. Remember the things that we're trying to do here, right? The Facebook group, Bubblehead Vacations Voyagers. Make sure you're stopping in there. Join that. Get there. The subscriber contest. I kind of tell you enough. We're giving away $25 Amazon gift card. All we're asking is for people to tag us, #BubbleheadBest. Share the podcast or leave a review. If you leave a review, the only way we're going to know that you left one is to take a picture of it, share that on social media with the Bubblehead Best tag. Okay. Last thing but not least, right? New Year's Eve, 2025. It's going to be a blast. Okay. We're going to ring in 2025 with a bang. It's going to be on Radiance of the Seas, Western Caribbean Cruise. We're going to go check out Belize. We're going to go check out Honduras. We're going to go check out Cozumel, Mexico. Okay. It's all out of Tampa. Tampa's a great place to have a good party. So we're going to go do that New Year's Eve next year. I know we're a year out. I'm telling you, the best deals are always if you strike it early. Anyways, if you have any questions about any of that stuff, make sure you do that. Until then, man, hey, let's see where those bubbles take us.
And that, my fellow adventurers, wraps up another exhilarating episode of Bubblehead Talks Vacations Podcast. We hope you've enjoyed the ride, but the adventure doesn't end here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and catch every episode from Dave the Bubblehead. Share your travel tales and experiences with us too. Connect with the Bubblehead on social media and be part of our amazing travel community. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, every journey starts with a deep breath. So let's see where the bubbles take us.